Welcome to another video about Anchor Panic, and yeah, that's right, I want to discuss a little bit the topic about weapons. I believe maybe some points are going to be kinda obvious, but some of them might be interesting and new for you. Maybe I'm going to provide some advices which you will find good, interesting. So yeah, let's begin. Overall, when we're talking about Sigils, these are weapons which you're going to equip for your operators. There are quite a few moments to keep in mind. So we have three rarity of weapons. There are R, SR, and SR. Among SR weapons, there are specifically weapons for characters and there are neutral weapons. So this is an important moment. For specifically characters, you should understand that they're going to be just the best fit for the character overall, and the most important part about SR weapons is going to be tough to upgrade them. In terms of XP, they're going to require more. Also for the refinement you need to get yourself dupes, and it's not a free-to-play aspect. For the empowerment, this is a unique feature for specifically SR weapons, and yes, for empowerment you need such empower nucleus, which you're able to receive for yourself from dismantling weapons, the same rarity, or from special supplies shop. When you're going to summon for weapons, you're going to receive let's say the currency which you're able to use in exchange shop and get those parts. When we're going to talk about the empowerment, whenever you're going to use 8, it's going to cost you one of these empower nucleus, and the stats that you're going to receive here, they're kinda random. When we're clicking the info button, here is everything explained, like what kind of stats you're able to receive. You're going to receive 3 of them immediately, but there is going to be like a variety of additional stats that you're able to receive. First of all, among all of them, they're going to be random completely. You may get yourself speed, quantum, dev bonus, or whatsoever, anything else. And the range is going to vary from the lowest to the maximum. It may be somewhere in between, as you can see in my case, but definitely this is going to be kind of helpful, especially if you're able to roll yourself some good stats overall. They're going to help you to perform better with your main DPS especially. So yeah, to do such experiment, I would suggest only for your main characters, like specifically for your main character, especially if you're a free-to-play player. But anyways, when we're upgrading the weapons, when we're leveling them up, you're going to increase overall your stats, HP, attack, and based on additional effect, it's going to vary from weapon to weapon. It's also going to be increased. Overall, that's clear. But again, there are neutral weapons which you're able to use for certain characters. So when we're talking about our weapons, they're actually not that bad, not gonna lie. The whole thing, the whole beauty, that when you're going to summon for weapons, you're probably going to receive quite a lot of dupes, and overall there are not that many. So enhancing them is going to be not a tough one process. As you can see, I have quite some maxed out, and I'm not really pushing there in terms of levels. I believe it's not really that important, at least at this stage of the game. Maybe later on is going to actually affect our performance quite a lot, but the whole thing that with enhancements you're going to receive kinda a good numbers with additional bonuses. Let's say here, for example, crit rate is going to be increased by 24%, which is actually not that bad, and you can use for your DPS unit, because all units, at least for now, they're with 0 crit rate whatsoever, and critting is going to improve your performance again by quite a bit. So yeah, our weapons, they might be not that bad options, but which of them are kinda useful, let's say. So this one weapon that I have stable, which is going to restore 35% of this damage as HP, which when you're going to land a critical hit. It's not a good option at all, and I want to change this weapon for dealing because it's not worth it at all. The most probably reasonable weapons here among ours are going to be Silent Ash, because when attacked by an enemy there is a 50% chance to increase block chance by 7% for 1 turn up to 4 stacks, so in total it's going to be 28%, which is not that bad. And I'm using it for my tank, for Flicker, for Defender, because she's going to receive quite a lot of attacks, quite a lot of damage, and survivability for her is really that important. So whenever it's going to be kinda a tough and really decent one hit to her, she has a certain chance to block attack and not receive damage at all. I think it's kinda a cool option here. This one different, so when self HP is above 80%, crit rate increases by 24%. For DPS, when you're positioning him in a safe location, in a safe spot, and you understand that opponent's most likely not going to hit your main DPS, this might be a good alternative until the moment you're going to receive yourself, for example, specifically a weapon for this character. Overall, among our weapons, I believe that's pretty much it. There is nothing else that's actually worth mentioning, but yeah, and now let's speak a little bit about SR weapons. So the Void Rite, when the operator is taking damage, increase damage reduction by 2.5% for 1 turn up to 5 stacks. So it's in total going to be 12.5% of damage reduction, which is not that bad for tanks if you have with quite some dupes this weapon. And again, SRs obviously is going to be way easier to farm rather than SSRs, so it might be a good option. When releasing energy burst, attack increased by 15% for 2 turns. This is also not a bad one for DPS as an alternative. Energy burst, this is from the ultimate, so for example if the character is casting ultimates pretty much often, you might actually take advantage of it. This one, Great Honor, when releasing energy skill, gain 1 stack of overload. When maxed, converts to increased healing by 18% for 2 turns up to 2 stacks. So it's basically going to be once per 2 turns. Energy skill, I believe it's not an energy burst, it's not an ultimate. Energy skill, I believe it's exactly the skill which you're able to use each turn. So it's not a bad option. It might help to certain healers to actually do their job better. Not a bad one option. It's a rival, the other weapon for healers, and actually I'm using right now on my healer this one. So healing allies with HP below 50%, increase healing effect by 15%. This is not a bad one option, quite honestly, because you're not really limited in terms of turns or something like that. Whenever your character is going to be below 50%, it's going to receive some increased amount of healing, and usually it's the case especially on later stages when you're going like immediately below 50%, so this is helpful at some point. Damage to enemies with HP below 50% increased by 14%. I don't see any reason to use this one. I mean, it's not too bad, but kind of meh. When operator's attack triggers a crit hit, gain 1 stack of resolve, each providing 1.5% attack boost up to 10 stacks. Not really that great. Each time operator uses skill, all allies receive a 2% attack boost for 2 turns up to 3 stacks. So this one actually might be a good option, and in my case, for example, for the breaker, for the support unit, which is going to provide buffs to my teammates, increasing their attack to also additionally increase others' attack, this is, let's say, a good one option for support units for sure. This one, not really. This one, it's actually okay. It's easy to activate. It's going to be active always for 1 turn, 12.5%. Not a bad option, not a bad option. Damage to enemies under frozen effect increased by 18%. Well, you understand that you're going to use it for your main DPS in the ice team. let's say, but they're not that great, at least for now. At the start of battle, gain 4 stacks of assault, each providing 5% attack boost. Each use of normal attack and energy skill consumes 1 stack of assault. Not that great. This one, the final hit of self skill, has an 80% chance to grant 14% attack boost for 1 turn. I mean, okay, but there is nothing extraordinary. I would focus mostly for support units and for healers. There are some good, but for DPS, not really. Falling Monolith. Each segment of attack has an 80% chance to increase operator's crit rate by 6% up to 5 stacks. So in total, it's 30% increase of crit rate, which is nice. Effects reset upon triggering a crit hit. I mean, it sounds great, especially for those characters who are using like a single attack. For single attackers, for those who are spamming, it's not going to be like a good improvement. It might be, but it is going to depend on the damage output overall. If it's going to be, let's say, if your character is spamming a lot and is going to be chargeable like all the time, then it might be a good fit. If we're talking about some of them that are kind of spamming like 5-6 attacks or something like that, it's not going to be that great. So situational, I would say. The other one, after dealing attack damage, there is 70% chance to gain 1 charge, increasing subsequent attack damage by 18%. Effect resets at the end of the turn. I mean, this one isn't that bad. Also, it increases the crit rate, which is really nice. The other one, I mean, okay, if you have a full setup of debuffers. This one, normal attack and energy skill, there is 60% chance to increase operator's attack by 10% up to 2 stacks. Effects reset after action. Not that bad, I would say, for probably the second DPS or support unit who kinda deals kinda decent damage. For main DPS, I would say this is not going to be the best option so far. Like, yeah, increase is great, but after action it sounds kinda good, but not really. Increase skill damage by 18%. When takes damage before action, this effect reduced by 25%. And the crit damage. It doesn't seem really good. No. Okay, energy burst damage increased by 70% for each ally of the same element. On the field, additional energy burst damage increased by 5%. This is actually a good one option for those characters who are spamming their ultimates and using them often. I believe this might be a good option for them, but maining this weapon I wouldn't really recommend. For each ally of the same element on the field, HP cap increased by 4% and defense increased by 2%. For tanks, for defenders, a good one, for sure. This sounds kinda weird. I mean, I guess it depends on type of healers, but the healer is going to heal themselves as well. So this is kind of weird, I don't know. Yep, and we're going to specifically weapons for characters individually. They're definitely going to be the best option. So overall, when we're talking about some, weapons which are general, which are not unique, among them there are quite a few which you're going to use for your characters, and they might be a good option for quite some period of time. Again, for example, when we're talking about SRs, I wouldn't really recommend to, main any of them which are neutral. For characters specifically, yes. All the others, they don't worth it at all, because you won't be able to really enhance them, advance them, and this is going to be just a headache. There are certain among SRs and Rs which I would really recommend to use, and I already mentioned them in this video. So yeah, just don't waste your resources and focus on your main character, your main DPS, and ideally get the weapon specifically for this character is going to be the best option. For other supporters, there are quite some that you can use, and they're going to play their role fair enough. With that being said, hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment, and see you guys in the next one. Take care.